Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Community Issues. As usual, we are back with your favorite fortnightly program. The topic for discussion this evening is policing in Tower Hamlets. Now, some of you may know this, that over the course of last few months, there has been several incidents, not just in Tower Hamlets, but across London, but particularly in Tower Hamlets, in view of the recent incident that happened in Shadwell and also in Aberfeldy. The trust between the community and the police are at a breaking point. And there has been several demonstrations that have taken place following the Aberfeldy incident, as well as meetings between the community and the police, and also our elected representatives. As a result of this, I had several requests from the local community to do a program. We invited the police to come along, as well as our elected representatives and various other people from the local community leaders, and also police that sits in the police neighborhood panel. They're all here. The police were supposed to be coming, as far as we understood. An email came last Friday confirming that they will be sending a representative, and it's not until now that I've just received a text message following my messages and telephone calls to the borough commander, Sue Williams. She just sent me a text message saying that it was cancelled by someone by the name of Azhar Buyan. Now, I've sent her a text message and also left a message on her phone telling her that I haven't cancelled any meetings. As far as I'm aware, this program is going ahead, and they were invited to attend, and we were expecting them to come along. So I very much hope that during the course of this program, they will be able to send someone along. If not, we will continue, and the police will have to come along perhaps another time. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. We are talking about policing in Tower Hamlets, but they are not here. Nevertheless, we've got a number of other guests that are here that have been working with the police and the local community for a number of years. There are elected representatives and also community leaders. If you have any questions, you wish to participate in this program, we have a live free number which starts with 0203 397 4740. That's 0203 397 4740. You can call us at the studio and speak to either myself or our guest. If you have any particular questions about policing in Tower Hamlets or perhaps anywhere else in London or indeed in the country, maybe our guest would be able to answer some of those as well. So please do call in and participate. Okay, let me introduce my guest to you. My first guest is sitting on my extreme left, and that's Jack Gilbert. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for coming along. Right, Jack Gilbert is a long-standing independent advisor to the police.
Shall I explain
panel.
what that is?
Yeah, go on.
So I after the murder of Stephen Lawrence, and there was all the questions about racism in the police, and there was this big inquiry, afterwards they recommended that the police should have independent advisors that would be able to point out where, what the community was feeling and thinking, different parts of the community, and also where their procedures or where their investigations were going wrong, so that there was a way of rooting out prejudice and discrimination inside the police. And I've been doing that since for almost 20 years.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jack, for coming along. We will be asking you some specific questions, and I hope our viewers will also be asking you some questions as well about what's gone wrong within the policing strategy and the local community.
And I also, as well as sitting on various boards for London-wide on hate crime, I also chair the ward in which the incident took place in Aberfeldy. So I'm very concerned about how London and how Tower Hamlets does its community policing.
Thank you very much, Jack. We shall come back to you. Sitting next to Jack Gilbert is a very popular face amongst the Bangladeshi community. He is Councillor Rajib Ahmed, who is a councillor for the Poplar and Lansbury ward. It's one of the ward where this incident happened in Aberfeldy a couple of weeks ago. Councillor Rajib Ahmed, thank you very much for coming along, for giving up your evening and for being committed to community activities.
Thank you for inviting me, and my salam and greetings to all your viewers in UK and all over the world.
Thank you very much. We shall come back to you and find out a bit more about what happened in Aberfeldy. I mean, I realise the case is live and is still under investigation, so
That's
we do
right.
not want to perhaps tweak too much which may prejudice the outcome of the investigation, but
Yeah.
we will talk generally. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sitting on my right is another face that's very popular in the community. He is Unmesh Desai, who is a Greater London Assembly member, and he is the chair of the Police and the Crime Committee in London. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming. And next to Unmesh Desai is a very well-known figure, respected figure in our community, a community leader, like an older brother to me. He is Junaid Ahmed Shundorbai, who on this occasion is the chair of the Black, Asian, minority and ethnic community. Have I got this right?
There you
Yes, you have.
Thank you very much, Shundorbai, for coming along. It is a
It's
pleasure
my-
to have you on board.
It's my pleasure too, and I would like to thank you, and particularly ATN Bangla's family, just to invite me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me perhaps start with Unmesh Desai, chair of the GLA Police and Crime Committee. Mr. Desai, what is happening in terms of the relationship between the police and the community that it polices? It seems like there is a huge mistrust between the police and the local community, and it's got to a point now where the local community don't trust the police anymore, and it seems like the police are perhaps going out of their way in terms of doing their duty and perhaps abusing their power. Can you throw some light in this and enlighten us as to what's happening?
Well, I'd like to think that following the Scarman report in after the 1981 Brixton riots, we had the Macpherson inquiry into institutional racism in the police force, and many other inquiries, small and big, up and down the country. Things have moved on. I personally think it would be churlish to say that things haven't moved on, but clearly there are issues, as has been demonstrated by the incident that we saw on social media on the Aberfeldy estate, which is a part of Poplar in East London, in the constituency that I represent at the Greater London Authority. Now, let me be very clear. Of course, social media, the film that we saw, it is disturbing. It doesn't, of course, tell you the full story. We are aware the outcome of the investigation.
Yes, absolutely.
But there have been several protests. I personally attended the first rally, which was attended about 100 people, called at very short notice. I believe you were there.
Yes.
Councillor Rajib was there.
Yes.
Czech was there as well. Shundapai was there.
Yes.
And then there was a very well attended public meeting in the local church, attended by some 200 people. Commander Williams was there. And I must say that I do share your disappointment that the police are not here today, having said that they were going to be here. So I confirm everything that you just told your viewers.
Thank you.
And I also confirm that you made every attempt to get them here.
Yes, absolutely.
So hopefully they'll turn up today, if not later on in 2 weeks' time. And that meeting, you could see people's frustrations, anger, not just about this incident, about what they see
Policing
as
in
a lack
general,
of,
yes.
policing in
Yes.
general,
Yeah,
lack
absolutely.
of dialogue, which I think throws up many deeper issues. How do we engage? What are the communications between the police and the community? After Scarman, we had police community consultative groups. Now, I was a critic of those groups, in the sense that I felt they were toothless, but nonetheless, they were public forums attended by representative local community groups. resourced by the local council, and it was transparent. Now those sort of structures have gone. We've got safer neighborhood boards, but again, there are serious issues about how seriously they are taken, and I'm sure Jack.
Okay, maybe we could bring Jack in.
So
here.
just to finish you up on the point, and attended a protest also at Bethlehem Green Police Station,
which was on Sunday.
Which was on Sunday.
Yes.
Can I just say what I have done? Because I think the public do expect something from the elected representatives.
Yes, of course. Yes.
I've written to the IOPC, the Independent Office
of Police Commissioners,
Police Conduct, telling them to expedite the investigation. We were told it would take up to 6 months for this investigation to be concluded. Now I know they're not short. We don't want any rushed inquiry, but it's not the most complicated incident in the world.
No.
I think it should be done within the space of a couple of months, I would say, or as quickly as possible. And I'll raise the matter to the Deputy Mayor for London, in charge of policing, Sophie Linden. The Mayor of London obviously is aware as well. The Commissioner is aware. So I will be doing everything I can to shed light on what happened that afternoon.
Sure. So who oversees the IOPC?
Well, it's an independent body.
Right. So is there anyone that monitors them? Maybe
So
Jack?
can I come? Can I? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there's two different things here.
Okay.
So let's deal first of all with the question of. So I actually wrote the morning after the incident, when I saw the videos, and there'd also been a partnership message around midnight where the police had given their account, and having watched both and read both, it was clear to me that there were a number of serious questions that still have to be answered. People need an assurance that this person wasn't targeted because of their race. Because it seems to be a lot of effort for a parking misdemeanor. Second of all, people need to know that a police officer behaved, appropriately with an individual, that the individual understood what was going on, and the level of the way in which the whole incident became escalated was really proportionate. No, I can't see that people wrestling each other on the ground after a parking offence can ever be proportionate. So we can't discuss the details now,
of course,
but these were the issues that I raised. And it's an issue also not just about race, but also disability and safeguarding. There were children in the car. One of them was left unattended and got into the road whilst all of this was going on. Another child was very disabled and needed oxygen. All of that, did the officer consider the disability of the person they were speaking to or of the other people in the car? Did they consider any of these issues? Is this because their normal procedures don't let them, or because the officer made a mistake? And so the question could be a procedural question and the officer made a mistake, and we won't know until the stuff is done. But having worked on a number of much more serious cases, including serial killers, the truth is, whilst IOPC are doing a review, it does not stop the local police themselves looking at the learning. And if the IOPC have called it a critical incident, which means that the way it's handled will affect the trust and confidence of the communities concerned, I don't see, and I've called on them to do this, and I know others have as well, why the local police haven't declared it a critical incident. Because the truth is, it will impact on the way the police are viewed by a whole section of the local population.
Absolutely.
And they should therefore call it a critical incident and have their own goal group. And in that goal group, the independent advisor will be drawn from all the communities concerned, and that include the disabled community. And there's a special meeting at New Scotland Yard tomorrow by the Disability Independent Advisor Group, who are also reviewing the matter, which I will be attending. And that group will have access to more of the information about the incident, because the way it works is that independent advisors get told much more information confidentially, but they then can give advice in a more informed way. And they can advise also on how the community perceive the incident, what the police need to do to recover the trust and confidence. Now, unless the local police if the local police do a goal group, they can do their own learning exercise. They can then talk to the advisors about how they're supposed to rebuild trust and confidence, and they can do all of that before the IOPC have reported.
Yeah. Well,
so you don't need to wait for the
in
IOPC to do that.
In terms of rebuilding the confidence, the meeting that took place
well, it's quite clear to me.
Unmesh Desai have mentioned that took place in the church that was attended by 200 people. You were there, I was there.
I was there.
So too were the others.
And as you know, at that meeting, I called on her to if the IOPC told us it was a critical incident, I don't know why the local police aren't declaring it. The other thing to say is this: we have a huge problem with in Tower Hamlets. Everywhere.
Let me just come back to this, because I think Rajib, you're the ward councillor.
That's right. Yeah.
One of the things that was said at that meeting was, why weren't the 4 officers that were involved in this particular incident suspended pending the outcome of the investigation?
Let me come.
But instead, the Borough Commander said they've been taken off normal patrolling but been put in
restricted duties.
Restricted duties. I mean, is this something that you would expect following a situation of this type?
What I learned from this, let me start from the beginning. As soon as we hear about this incident, I mean, a lot of our residents, they called us, that sent us text messages. I was there, so my other 2 colleague councillor, Councillor Kahar and Councillor Bax was there as well. The mayor was there. The lead member Asma was there. Umesh Bhai went there as well. So many other people was there. The people who seen this video were very shocked, obviously, the way it was handled. But there were so many questions there, because the police.
My question to you is, as a ward councillor, you were at the meeting. Members of the public put several questions to the Borough Commander, and they were not happy with the way in which those questions were answered. Do you agree with that?
Well, about that suspension, as the Borough Commander already said, that because it is under investigation, it's very difficult for them to suspend this person, because they will have other.
We need to go on a break, Councillor, and we will come back to you, and we will continue. Junaid Bhai, my apology. We will come back to you after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We need to go on a short break. We'll be back very soon. Thank you.